Hey again, everybody. We have another Adobe Dreamweaver tutorial. In the last one, we were showing how to create a site from scratch, and then we created like a container div, which then had our header in it, uh, the body of the web page, and a footer, and those kind of things. And then we started giving it some kind of dimensions to it using CSS to make it look like an actual website layout. So we're going to kind of do the next step now and review that from last tutorial. And then we're going to this time put in some actual content into the web page this time. So we'll go up to Site and New Site like we've done before. And I'm going to call this one Skeleton 3 since it's kind of our third page like this that we've done. All right, and then like I said before, I'm just saving this on the desktop. You can save yours wherever you want. And I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call this one Skeleton 3. Okay, I'm going to select that and go to Select Folder and Save. Okay, then we can go up to File and New. And we can go for the title here for this HTML. I'm just going to call this Skeleton 3 tutorial for the title. And I'm going to create that. And then we can go ahead and go to File and Save As. And this is in our Skeleton 3 folder. I'm going to call this Skeleton 3. And that's our HTML file. Now for this demonstration, I do have some images that I'm going to be using. And so let me get to this on here. I have a picture of a dog and a picture of a fox, and they're on my desktop, and I'm actually going to copy those, and I'm going to actually go here onto my desktop and into my Skeleton 3 folder, and there's my Skeleton 3 HTML. I'm going to paste those two pictures into this folder for this tutorial. It doesn't really matter what you should just have a couple pictures that you want to use for this tutorial. I went to unsplash.com and brought in a couple pictures into Photoshop and made them, I believe, 400 pixels wide by 300 pixels tall. So, but the size isn't really super important for this tutorial, just for giving us some content to play around with. All right, let me make sure we are still, in fact, recording. Good, we are. Okay, and I'm on my standard view, and I'm on the split view mode for this page. So a lot of this is going to be pretty similar to what we were doing before. Okay, so I'm going to go down into the body section of this here, and actually we can, yeah, this should be fine. All right, so to the body section, and then I'll go up to Insert. Okay, and then I'm going to put in a div, and I'm just going to call this one Content Wrap, because that's what we did last time. Okay, so pretty easy there. And then I'm going to hit Enter, and in between those div tags, I then need to add in my header. And I'm just going to call this header. I'll make it easy to remember. All right. And in the header here, I'm just going to put in web page header right here. All right. So we got that there. Then underneath that, we'll do what we did last time, and we'll put in a navigation. And so I'm going to call this nav bar. And I'm going to put that right there. Okay, now we will look back. We can actually do this now. This is fine. So last time we just had some information in here that said this is where our links will go. Okay, and what we want to kind of think of a nav bar or a navigational menu is a list of links. Okay, so go in here. I'm right inside that nav bar option that we added, and I want to add in an unordered list. Okay, so you can see there we have a UL, and that's for unordered list on there. Okay, and inside of that unordered list, we want to put in a list item. Okay, so inside the UL tags and inside the LI tags that are inside the UL tags, I'm going to go ahead and put in my first item of the list. And what do I want to put in here? Well, we're going to use another tag. This is getting kind of crazy. Okay, so I'm going to go over to insert again, and now I want to go to hyperlink, and that's going to give me an A tag for anchor. Okay, and so what do I want the text to be in this? I'm just going to call this first one home. Okay, so that'll be like the home page button. Then down here for the link, if I had multiple sites or multiple pages for my site created, I could actually go to this folder and then go to one of the pages I made, and I could link to that. Right? Since I don't have anything there, but I don't have those other pages made yet, but I do in fact want this to actually look like the hyperlinks would be clickable. I'm going to go ahead and put a pound sign, and then I'm just going to put in link. Okay, so that way later on I could say, okay, I could either navigate to the web page I have saved in this folder, or if I wanted to link to an external website, then I could go ahead and put that link there as well. Okay, so a relative link is when we're linking to pages within our site, and an absolute link is when we're linking to pages outside of our site. So sometimes you hear those terms being used as well. All right, so link is on there. I'm going to click OK. And there we have our first link on here, and it's got a bolded item in there, and we'll fix that later. Okay, so looking at this now, I'm actually going to select this part right here. Okay, I'm going to copy that. So everything from that href to link down to the closing of that A tag, and now I'm going to hit enter, and this is still all going inside of my, actually, you know what, let's go back and make one change to that. I actually want to select my list item. There we go. Okay, and Control C. All right, so I got that copied on there, and now still inside my unordered list element, I'm now going to paste this. Okay, and you'll see up at the top it's adding this link. Okay, now I'm just going to do this so I have 4 total links. All right, and then the other thing I want to do is, like on link number 2 here, I'm just going to change that from home to link 2. I'm going to change the third one to link 3, just so it looks a little bit different up on our example here, and then link 4. Okay, so maybe the first one would be home, maybe one of them would be contact us, one of them would be history, or whatever you want the links to your site to be. But for now, we'll just use generic names for this thing, okay? So there is our nav bar. Pretty kind of confusing the first time you do it, but inside the nav tag, we have an unordered list tag, and inside of the unordered list tag, we have 4 list item tags, and inside each of those list item tags, we have an A tag for our hyperlinks. Okay, so that's all there, and now we can go ahead and get out of the navbar part, and we're still inside the div class content wrap which we created. All right, so after the navbar, we can now go to section. All right, and for the class on this, I'm just going to call this content. That'll work. Okay, and I'll leave that like so for there. Okay, and then real quick, we're going to go back to this content here in a moment, but we also, underneath that, we'll just go ahead and we'll make our footer right now because I don't want to deal with it later. All right, so I'm going to just type in footer for the class, and in here I will type in footer. Okay, so we got all of those elements right there. Now, the last thing I want to do, like I said, we're going to put some content in here that we're actually going to be modifying. And so this is all, let me move this kind of screen up. Okay, and inside here we got section. We're going back to this, and here's what we're going to do. We're going to put some stuff inside this section in which we are calling content. All right, so the first thing I want to do, I'm going to take out this text here, like that, and I'm going to hit enter so I have some room here to see what's going on. I want to go up to insert, and I want to select image. Okay, and I'm going to choose the fox pic that I put on here. Okay, so I double click on that wherever I had it saved, and we'll see up here in our preview we have that picture right there. Okay, it's not supposed to look very pretty right now because we're just doing the HTML. We'll make it look nice with the CSS later. Okay, so there this is, and you can see image source, and I actually want to add a class to this image. So after image, after the initial image tag here, right in between the IMG and the SRC, I want to put in my class, and I'm going to go class. I'm going to go class equals, and I'm just going to go IMG left. Okay. And it matches up here like where we made these classes for content wrap, navbar, and those type things. Okay, so there that is. Now that'll work for us right there. Okay, and then after that image, but before the section closure, so I'm just going to move this section thing out of the way down there a little bit to keep it out of the way because we're going to be adding some things here. And I want to go to, I want to add an H2. Okay, so I'm going to go up here, insert H2 heading. All right, and then I'm going to go image left. Cool. All right, so we got text right there, and we've learned all about the H1 and H2 and so forth in class, so we don't need to review through all that stuff. So we're going image left. All right, and then after that, I want to put in a paragraph. Okay, so I'm going to go up to insert and paragraph, and in this paragraph tag, I'm actually going to just type in some text that we can use for this page. All right, so I'm just going to type in here the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog, and I'm just going to type that a few times. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Okay, so I have some text in there that goes along with this. All right, so that looks pretty good, and we're done with that part right there. So leaving that paragraph section now, I now can go over to insert, and I'm going to insert my other image. All right, so this one's going to be the dog. So the first picture obviously is our quick brown fox, and this is a lazy dog, if I've ever seen one. All right, so we got that picture there, and just like we did above, I want to add a class for this image. So right between the IMG and the SRC, I'm going to type in class equals, and I'm going to call this one IMG right, because we're going to do a couple different things with these pictures. All right, so that's where those two images are. Nice. Okay, that looks good. So I'm going to go underneath that, and I'm going to kind of match the same format we did above. Okay, so I'm going to add another H2 here, and this one I'm going to call, sometimes this touchpad I'm using on this, on my laptop, clicks that twice. Okay, so I want one set of H2 tags, and I'm going to type in here image right. All right, so that's where that is. All right, and then underneath that, I want to go up to insert and add a paragraph again. Okay, and then this time, I don't really feel practicing keyboarding is always good and all, but I don't want to do that right now. Okay, so I'm going to copy it from above, and I'm going to paste those sentences inside these tags. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead now and make our CSS styles. So first thing I need to do is go over to add a source, and I'm going to add a new CSS source. All right, and then up here I'm going to type in style 3 just to make it match our web page. All right, I'll click OK, and now we have our source code and style 3.css up here again. Okay, so I'm going to go File, Save All just to make sure that stuff all saves. All right, and then we can start making our changes just like we did with our last tutorial. Okay, so I'm going to select the body section here from our code. And with this, I want to add the selector. Okay, and it puts body there. All right, and then underneath that, I'm going to add a property. So this one here, we can go background color, and let's give this kind of a grayish color, I guess. So we'll go # D9, 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 and enter. All right, and then we got kind of a light gray for the background color. Okay, and then after doing that, the next thing we want to edit on here, I guess, would be the content wrap tab. Okay, so we got that selected. We'll add that selector on there. content wrap, I hit enter, and then down here I'm going to go width, I'm going to go 80%. Okay, and then for the margin, I'm going to go 10%. All right, so we have that on there. That looks pretty good. And actually, you know what? I shouldn't just do margin 10%. What would actually be better? I'm going to delete that. I'm going to go margin left, and then I'm going to go 10%. So that way we don't have the big space up at the top of the web page. So I got 10% here, 10% over here because this is 80%. So 100% straight across from the width of our web page. All right, so that looks pretty good. Now if I go to the header section, okay, and then I go add a selector dot header and I hit enter. And this one here, I'm going to go width is 100%. All right, and then also I want to go in here, height is, let's go 100 px for 100 pixels. Okay, and then we can go in here for background color. Let's give that kind of a darkish gray, or a darker gray anyway. So I'm going to go # A9, A9, A9. All right, and that looks pretty good. And then maybe for the text on this, I want to go font size, and let's try 36, and that's fine for right now. And then if we wanted to change the color, we would just go color, background color changes the background color, color changes the text color. And let's just choose, let's go with our #FFFFFF for white. Okay, so there's some text in there for the header, and we could put a background image in there if we wanted to, but we're not too worried about the header for this tutorial, so that'll be good enough. Okay, so the main part of this tutorial, or one of the main parts, was I wanted to show you how to style this navigation menu here to make this thing look nice. Okay, so this is going to involve changing a few of these different classes on here. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I'm going to go here to the UL. Okay, here's the UL. All right, and I'm going to add that selector on there. Okay, content wrap .navbar UL. Yep, I'm going to hit enter. Okay, and here's going to be my stuff for this. So the first thing, I want to get rid of those bullets because those look terrible. All right, so I want to go list -style -type. All right, and then I'm going to hit enter, and I want to choose none. Okay, and that gets rid of those right there. That works kind of nice. Okay, and then the next thing I want to do in here is, let's go ahead and change the background color. We'll go background color, and for the background color on this, let's go ahead and give this kind of a bluish color. So I'm going to go pound, and then I'm going to go 44 and 84 and CE. Okay, so that works for the background color on there. All right, then the next thing I want to do for this is I want to have this be the width be 100%, even though it already is on here right now. Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, so we got the width 100%. All right, and then after that, I'm going to go margin is going to be 0. So there's no space in between that. Or if you want the space, you can have it up there. It's kind of up to you, but we'll just go 0 for this. All right, and then underneath that, I'm going to go padding is going to be 0. And that's going to slide it back to the left. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to do on here for this unordered list is I'm going to change our overflow to hidden. Okay, so we made all those changes and still doesn't look great, but that's a pretty good start for this right here. Okay, so now the next thing I want to do is I want to select one of my list items. And even though I only have one selected, these are all LIs, so it's going to change every instance of this, which is the benefit of using CSS, so we don't have to change it in a million places. I'm going to add that to my selector up here, navbar unordered list item. Okay, I'm going to hit enter, and here for the property on this is I'm going to put in float left. Okay, and so we have them all in one line right now. Okay, that's not terrible. Doesn't look horrible. All right, so we have that on there. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to select my list item A. Okay, this has to do with the attributes for the links of the hyperlinks. Okay, so I'm going to add a selector, ULLIA. I'm going to hit enter there. All right, and then here's our properties. The first thing is I want to go display block. All right. Okay, then the next thing I want to do is I want to go padding, and let's go 8 pixels. Okay, so that gives us a little bit more space around those text. Okay, and then I want to go here to background color. All right, and the background color of these is going to be, and you'll think at first like, why are we doing it like this? But you'll see in a minute. So I'm going to go with the same color of blue that we did for the other one. So that was £, and then we went 4484 and CE. Next thing we want to do here is we want to make these links look a little bit nicer in that nav bar. All right, so in my ULLIA, I want to change, and here I'm going to type in text decoration. I'm going to choose none. That takes away the underlines. Then I want to go color and white. All right, starting to look better there as well. Okay, the next thing I think that I would like to do is I could go in here for this list item, and this first list item here, and I'm doing this inside the inside the HTML after li, or actually let's do this. Let's go after the A, and I want to, I want to go up in the very top one here. Let's do that. Okay, so A and since this is the home tab up here, I want to go A, and then I'm going to go with ID equals quotation marks, and let's call this current. All right, and now what I could do here is on this one I can create a selector for that. ULLI, and this is for the current one. I'm going to hit enter, and I want to change the background color of this one to £, and we can go F9 CF 00. Okay, and then when I hit enter, we can see up here this one has the background gold color on there. So that's kind of a cool thing we can do for that. Another thing we could do as well with the rest of these, we could choose the this navbar ULLI. We could actually, here, let's actually do this. Let's just add another selection on here, but then after the part on there, I'm going to go hover, all right, and here it is down here. I'm going to change this and go background color, and then let's use that same color, for instance, for right now. So I'm going to go £, then F9 CF 00. All right, let's try like this. Let's go A : hover, and we have that color on there. There we go. All right, so now we have this page. It's got a little bit of responsiveness, or not really responsiveness, but a little interactivity to it, to where we can see, you know, when we're looking at this page, those highlight over when we mouse over the links. And then the only thing you would have to do different is if you use the same navbar on multiple pages, you would change your ID is equal to current. You would make that for whichever one of these links that was the current page you're working on. All right, so that's the navbar part of this. And we're getting close to being finished with this. All right, so the next things I wanted to do here, we can scroll down now that we're done with that navbar. And on here we have our image up here that we have, the image left. Okay, so I'm going to select that image and I want to add a selector to it. Okay, and then what I would like to do for this is I'm going to go width, and I'm going to say like is 60%. All right. And so we have that picture on there, and the height should be adjusted automatically for wherever the width is, so it shouldn't be distorted. You can also go like height, and you can type in auto as well in some cases. Okay, so we have that on there for image left. And let's go ahead and put a margin right to the side of it, and let's just go like 2%. And the reason why we're doing this is so that the text to the side of it here shortly won't be bad looking. All right, so image left, we have that on there. That's pretty good. And then what we can also do here is we can put in here float. Let's go left. All right. So here's our text for right here. All right. It's not so bad. The text is right there, and then as this shrinks down, this text will always stay to the right of that, and there's our little margin in there. And then we want to go down to the image right, and we want to add the selector for that. And we want to follow those same rules for this. Okay, so I'm going to go width is 60%, height, auto. I want instead, this time I want to go margin left is going to be 2%. And I will also go float. So as we look here, we can see that now, because of that float left and float right feature, our text fills in all that empty space. All right, so here's an easy fix to make that go away. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to, after my first of the two paragraphs, I'm going to put in my own tag here, less than greater than sign, and then I'm going to put in an HR, which is a horizontal rule. Okay, that's item number one. Okay, then the next thing I want to do, just to keep things consistent, I'm going to do the same thing down here after the second paragraph. All right, and let's double check, make sure we have the horizon line there. Might just not be able to see it real good right now. Okay, so we have those two on there. They're in that section. So I'm in Control S. All right, and now what I want to do is I want to add a selection for this. Okay, content wrap, content HR. Okay, and what I would like to do for this is I would like to type in clear, and then I'm going to select both. All right, now when I save this, what that means is everything underneath that, that's going to go under the place of everything above it. And now we have this kind of set up to where it looks kind of nice, where we have that spread out on there, And if you want to, you can make the, you can put like a padding or a margin around the horizontal lines, or you can make them invisible, that kind of stuff. But you can kind of see how that could be used to then make elements of your web page fit nicely to where they're supposed to go. Okay, so as we look at this page here, we could then go down to the footer. you know, and we could select footer right there, and then go add the selectors for that. Okay, and then hit enter. We could type in height, and we could type in 100 pixels, like what we did with the header section of this page. And you can do the background color or whatever. Sometimes people will have that be a different color at the bottom. Sometimes it'll be the same color as the website, you know. And we can also go in here, align center. Oops. Text align center. Okay, there we go. And we could put, you know, just kind of the basic information for our website that we would need for that. We could say something like, okay, let me click here on the footer. And we could say, this site was, sorry, this page was created by John Smith. And then after that, we could put and sign and write the word copy. This is like for an entity code, and then a semicolon that puts the copyright symbol up there, and then we could type in 2019. All right, so obviously, you know, this page still has a lot of work to go, but this was a really long tutorial. Sorry about that. But we took everything we've learned from the beginning. We created a new site from scratch. We defined the site again. We made our HTML for it, you know, saved the HTML file and wrote our code. And this code had all the elements we had before, but this time we also added in our nav bar up here. And you also, in your text, we looked at some different examples for nav bars as well. So, you know, you can take everything that you've learned from our previous projects, and here we can apply it to something we're building from scratch and see how you can kind of mix and match those kind of things for it. The next tutorial we'll talk about will be a all-out responsive web page that can be viewed on any size of a electronic device. So hopefully this helps you out a little bit and you picked up a few tips and tricks, and thanks for watching.